Are we live? I think we're live. Yeah. Okay. Are we Hold on. Are we live? Something is going on. I think we're live. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. I think we're live. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. I think we're live. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. I think. Okay, we're good. Okay. Sorry. I was getting a really weird feedback loop. Anyway, we should be good. Um, because I don't know how to set streams up anymore, apparently. Oh my god, it has been a rough morning. Okay, let's start up Seduce Me. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm Gina, aka the Gina Chu. I know Freggy, the family troll, is already hanging out. Oh, it's a wonderful Saturday afternoon. I spent 2 hours in a meeting with my friends on a film project. My car died. I have no food in the house. Today is just fantastic. Oh, man. Alrighty. So, we are going to finish up Seduce Me by playing Diana's Roots. Let me get her walkthrough ready. I need her walkthrough. Hold on. Alrighty. Here's Diana. Okay. Alrighty. Frankie just called first. Alright, Diana's route. Who wanted their name for Diana's route? I don't think anybody ever claimed Diana's route. Whatever. Whatever. We're just gonna call her Chu-Chu Club. All of us are romancing her together. As one big ol' group. Alright, we're just gonna go through this. None of the choices here matter. Until we have the choice to let the guys stay or to let the guys go. In which case we gotta let them go and start all that craziness with Diana. There's Dad smacking us across the face.
Of course.
Let's leave it alone. I don't feel like dealing. I'm having a date there. Jules! Hello, Jules, my darling. Thanks for stopping by. Did you call her, Frags? I don't have anything written down for it. Maybe you did. I don't remember.
What?
Yeah, keep it. I don't care, Eric. I don't care. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care about any of this. Oh, I don't know which one of these we should do.
Are you sure?
Since we're gonna let them go, I'll just go out with Suzu and Naomi. I had that for lunch 2 days ago, though. Oh.
That's nothing. Anyways.
Oh, okay. It's a little bit of extra dialogue, I guess, because I chose the specific lunch. I'm sorry, Frags. You can forgive Mama Chu-Chu, I hope. I'm out of it this morning.
I'm so sorry.
I don't care.
Do you have college?
I don't care. I don't care.
What do you think
I
of
don't
the...
care. I'm
Do you
thirsty.
think the company
I don't care. I don't care.
You're welcome.
I don't care about any of these choices. They are not what we are here for. We are here for Diana. Fuck off, Malix. Rah! Go, 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 go. I love doing this. So let's work on some homework. We never work on homework. Hey. Go to my room. I don't care. Stay in your room. I needed to stay in. There was really no need to spend my day anywhere except home. I'll just entertain myself. The question was, how? Play video game. I don't know. I looked into the TV in my room, wondering if my old console grandfather bought me and conveniently kept here worked on it. I suddenly groaned at the idea of setting it up. Too many wires. I was bored though and I craved to play some games. Maybe I should have went to the arcade. I sighed and stood up. I began to dig around the drawers and hidden areas of the room. Eventually I found it with a smile. There you are, beautiful. I ignored my lazy mental cries and set up the console, turning it on and seeing what game was in the console. Little Cause. I'd rather play Dungeon Era. I switched games and started up a new game. The premise, you were the dungeon keeper and you had to stop monsters from appearing in your dungeon or else they'd destroy the world. Beautiful storytelling. I was zipping my way through levels faster than I'd imagined myself doing so after years of not playing it. I watched as my dungeon keeper slashed through the monster upon monster with ease, yelling her battle cry before and after each kill. Die, demon! I stopped. The monsters were demons? I watched as the monsters appeared on the screen and took swings at my dungeon keeper. They were indeed, for lack of a better word, monstrous. Leather skin, spikes, pointed teeth, growls that defied human sound. The works. I hope Cookie's coming. I couldn't help laughing. Demons do not look like that. I stopped as I heard those words come out of my mouth. What was I saying? It's true. Did I really say that? I paused the game and rubbed my face with my hands. I cannot believe I actually said that. The pure instinct, I ejected the game and put in Little Cause. Sci-fi. I need sci-fi. I needed to get back into reality. Shooting aliens and being the greatest force in space was, in my mind, more realistically acceptable than slaying demons. Cookie's here! Hello, Cookie, my love! Thank you so much for stopping by. It's always awesome to see you. Even the romance my character had with an alien crewmate appeased me. Is this like Mass Effect? I let my brain empty as I played my video game all the way until my stomach growled for dinner. Okay, dinner time. I'm gonna walk away. Actually, can we
That's gross, Susie.
whatever. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Guys, I am just not with it today. Diana. There was no choice for me to let the boys go. According to this, I need to choose that, but there's no choice for that, but I can make a deal with Diana. Hopefully that will help. Then I remembered. Demons had a conscience. They weren't heartless without reason. She could be reasoned with. She seemed like a businesswoman. Wait!
What? You're wasting my time.
What about a deal, huh? Diana raised an eyebrow. I was afraid she wasn't one to listen. What if she was as ruthless as I imagined her to be?
I'm listening.
Wait, really? Was she really willing to listen to me? She didn't drop me in the pit of death, but she didn't let me out of her spell. Now is a good time as any to try reason. These memories are precious to me, but they're not worth me losing my life.
Of course.
I mean, if I die, people will wonder and try to find explanations to why I died or where I disappeared to. That's true. If you just disappeared and then your grandfather mysteriously died, I mean, that might draw some unwanted attention. Anderson might have a point. Oh, is Little Cause based off of Just Cause? Oh, thanks, Cookie. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the car battery. Last time, the car battery just, like, had no water in it, which we don't even know how that happened. There's plenty of water in it. This time, it's just dead, so it's charging right now. And then my dad's a mechanic, luckily, so he has to do a load test on it to see if the battery is bad or not. He hopefully has a battery that he can grab for me, like, he can get me a battery on Monday when he goes into work. I'm off Monday. Hopefully he can do that. Well, actually, really, hopefully my battery's not bad, because if the battery's bad, it's just a pain in the ass, and for some reason, my car always has some sort of issue, and it just drives me nuts. I had a 1995 Saturn that I was driving for like 20 years. That car is 20 years old, I was driving it since the day I got my license, and I just got rid of it 2 years ago for a Nissan that I'm driving now. And these fucking, like, car battery issues keep plaguing me. It just drives me. It just drives me nuts. Oh, Cookie. No, I don't think there are any new... I don't think there are any new commands. Hold on 1 second. Let me check the command list. Oh, well, I think you were here for the cuddle party and the bang commands, but, there's also a lane command and a pingu command now. You might have missed those. I don't know. Anyway.
Then just hand over your memories.
What if I traded them to you instead? You seem like a reasonable businesswoman. A trade is better than forcing me to give in, right? This was insane. I didn't even know if she was willing to listen. She already had me hanging over a pit of death. The only thing I could hope for was her being forgiving enough to listen to reason.
Well, speak your terms. What do you want in exchange?
I let out a relieved sigh. She was willing to listen further. I don't know what Anderson's game is here, ma'am. I'm sorry you missed them. Go ahead, play around with them, though, if you want. Well, what can you give me in return for them?
I'm a demon. I can give you anything within reason. Money, men, women, power. Name it. Just make it worth the price.
She could really get me anything? My mind began to wander. What did I want? Her or power? I guess her is what we're choosing. Is this really what's going on right now? Oh my god. Are we really gonna do this? I want her! I heard Diana stifle a laugh.
Me? Are you serious? What do you mean, me?
I looked at Diana again. She was indeed scary, but she was gorgeous, and somehow she interested me. More so than the boys. Alright, I'm all about it. I mean, you're staying with me for a little while. I want to get to know you and these rules you're talking about.
A human wanting to know more about a demon and the rules. You're really trying to step over your place. Especially if you'll be losing those memories in the end.
Yeah, really. Like, if you're giving the memories up, what do you care, Anderson? I'm serious. I'll give you my memories and energy if you stay for just a couple of days. A day, even. It'll be worth it.
Completely willingly?
Completely willingly.
And if you don't fulfill your end of the bargain?
Then you could feed me to your beast. Did that really slip out of my mouth? Was I really wanting to put my life back on the line again? If it meant keeping my memories for a little longer, then yes. Diana looked to me, scanning my body with eyes for any signs of false intent. I didn't have any, so as Diana sighed and snapped her fingers again. The demon below me vanished and I was slowly lowered to the ground. I looked at Diana in surprise.
You are very lucky demon magic is so finicky.
What do you mean?
Why do you think demons make deals with humans like you?
I wasn't sure. Demons were still new to me. I'd heard stories of people making deals with demons and only ruin coming from it. Oh god, I'm sorry guys. Oh god damn it. Diana sighed.
It's one thing to take your memories or your energy. It's another for you to willingly give it. We get more for our effort if the one we make a deal with is willing. Think of it like sex. If I'm aroused and you're willing to open your legs for me, I'll get pleasure. I'll enjoy it. You might enjoy it. And it's done. But if you aren't willing and I force myself on you anyway, it's not so pleasurable for me. Even if I get what I want, it won't be as worth the effort.
Well, that would also be rape, but yes. Strangely, that made sense. It was very much like a business. If I had what they want, they could negotiate for it, or they could take it away anyway, but not without a fight. Were they all really business-oriented? My curiosity about demons grew as I realized what deal I had made. So you'll stay for a couple of days?
A day is enough.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Whoa! Best conversation, you guys! The best conversation. Diana looked me up and down once again. I felt a little naked all of a sudden under her gaze, but I ignored it as she shrugged. Oh my god, what is wrong with me today?
All right.
Diana kept her eyes on me, unsure of what was going on from the look in her face.
So, what do you want to know? You're obviously curious about demons enough to make a deal with me.
My first thought shot. Oh my god, I can't. Okay, I need to calm down. My brain is tired. My first thought shot to her, but then I remembered the boys. Not all of my questions were answered, and I wanted to know everything. First of all, who exactly are you? Diana chuckled before crossing her arms.
You may refer to me as simply Diana. As I said before, I'm a succubus, and I intend to bring the boys back home.
Back home? What do you mean? Back to the demon world?
Precisely. They don't belong here, and it's imperative that they return.
Why?
Did they not tell you? They're runaway royals.
I couldn't believe my ears. What? They were royalty? Why would they run away from royalty? Well, if you played the other routes, you would know. Diana simply smirked at my new surprised face.
Ah, so they didn't tell you. How unfortunate. You were in the presence of a demon prince and his noble brothers, and you didn't even know.
I felt myself unconsciously walk over and sit on my bed. They hid something gigantic from me. Why? Did they not trust me? Or maybe because, it's probably just not a good thing to know? Like, what? Then again, it had only been a couple of days, yet they helped me and were here for me regardless, acting like servants instead of noblemen. Oh my god. I gripped my head in frustration. What am I supposed to believe?
Believe whatever you wish. The confusion will fade away soon enough, regardless.
I looked at Diana, who gave me an almost somber look in return. She was serious about removing my memories, but she would keep her end of the deal until I learned all I could. That, and I felt thrilled to have her. Maybe it was because she was a succubus. I didn't know. I sighed and faced Diana. So, how did you get to the human world? How did the boys get here?
With the help of a human, in both of our cases. There's truly no need for details beyond that. Any human can cast a demon's summoning spell. It's just a matter of what happens during the summoning and after where things get tricky.
What do you mean?
Well, if a human is willing, only part of their life force is taken from them, and they are given one chance to open a bridge between our worlds to allow the demon they desire to come through. The more demons come through, the more life force the spell takes. Luckily for the poor human that brought them here, the boys sacrificed some of their own powers to open the bridge instead of letting the spell feed solely on the human. The human lived, and the boys came through.
The human we know as our grandfather. That almost made sense. Something in my mind clicked, but I couldn't clear it out to figure what it was. I only nodded to Diana. And you were the same?
Somewhat. However, I don't care to go into details about how I came here. You'll forget soon enough.
That's not part of the deal.
You wish to have me around for more information. I get to decide what information to give.
Cheater.
It's not cheating if it's not a broken rule.
I hopped and crossed my arms and legs. Diana was a game player and I didn't like her rules. However, they were the rules I had to accept in order to keep my memories a little while longer. I'd find a way to remember. She wasn't going to win. Diana let out a small chuckle and ran a hand through her hair.
Well, I believe I should head to bed. If I'm to stay here, then I need some form of sleep.
I watched as Diana crossed through my room to the door and opened it. She turned to me with a small wink.
Have a good night. See you in the morning.
Before I could respond, she exited my room and closed the door behind her. I stared. It was like she was in control. I almost gritted my teeth at the thought. She wasn't the master of the house. I was. I huffed and crawled back under the covers. How did my life get so complicated? What was going on with me? I must have some serious bad luck. I sighed and covered myself with my blankets, wanting tonight to end. Oh my god. I needed tomorrow to come. School would take my mind off of things. If school actually happened, anyway. I woke that morning minutes before my alarm. I felt slightly groggy, but I didn't exactly feel bad. It was more of a physical exhaustion with a mind ready to take on the day. I stretched and quickly changed into my clothes before heading downstairs with my bag. As I reached the lobby, I stopped and sniffed the new sudden smell in the air. Breakfast? Diana cooked? I continued my way to the dining room to see Diana laying out a plate covered with sliced fruit. On the table, there were delicious smelling eggs, toast, bacon, ham, veggies, and juice. I felt my mouth salivate. But then I remembered that it was Diana serving breakfast, and I shook my head. What are you doing?
Ah, you're up. Come. Breakfast. I didn't know what you liked, so I made everything I knew humans ate for this time of day.
I walked over and scanned the table before giggling. Diana raised an eyebrow at me.
And what is so funny?
You didn't make everything breakfast related. You forgot a couple things. Really? Are we just gonna, like, fucking poke the bear here? Like, do you really want to piss Diana off? Like, Jesus. I did read his fanfic. It was very funny, Cookie.
Like what?
Coffee, pancakes, waffles. Diana looked almost insulted before looking to the table and recounting the plates. I laughed harder, making her glare at me.
I haven't been in the human world long enough to know everything, all right? Unlike the boys, I know little to nothing about what you humans eat in your homes.
At the mention of the boys, I suddenly remembered them. They treated me like part of their family, caring for me and making sure I was okay beyond anything else. They were servants to me, and I let them go. I let out a sigh at the memory. Little did I know that Diana stared at me the entire time. I shook my head and looked to the table, getting an empty plate and filling it with what I wanted before sitting and eating. Diana remained standing, watching me. I felt almost naked under her gaze, so I looked over, pausing my eating. Aren't you going to eat?
I already ate.
What did you eat?
You really wish to know?
Yes, we do. I wanted to know more about demons. I wanted to know more about her. Of course I said yes. Diana stared in surprise at me before smirking a bit and reaching into her cleavage. I watched as she pulled out a small purple vial. She popped the cork and poured a mere couple of sipfuls in her palm before recorking the vial and placing it back into her dress. Diana closed her eyes and closed her hand. What was she doing? This was odd to watch, yet at the same time I was practically at the edge of my seat in curiosity. What was she going to do? Her hand started to open, almost like a blossoming flower, and revealed a small peach-sized fruit. It was purple and had almost an enchanting smell to it that made my food seem almost disgusting.
A plant from the abyssal plains. We call it a sweet flower. Would you like to try it?
Oh, why not? Yes. I nodded, staring at the fruit. It looked absolutely gorgeous and delectable. I couldn't resist grabbing on the chance to try it. This doesn't seem like the greatest thing. Diana wouldn't just make breakfast out of the kindness of her heart. I feel like this was her end goal. Guys, what is she doing? Yes, I read the entire thing. Diana nodded before cupping the fruit in both hands and pulling the purple flesh out from the fruit, revealing a juicy blackish center, as if it were cut on the inside. Diana pulled out a perfect slice and handed it to me.
I must say, you may be the first human to try this fruit. You should consider yourself lucky.
I nodded, not pulling my eyes away from the fruit slice in my hand. It was juicy and its clear juice painted over my fingers. I somehow didn't care. I wanted to try it and savor it. I lifted the small slice to my lips and took a small bite, feeling ecstasy run through my mouth. I almost couldn't fight back the moan that was erupting from my throat. It was sweet, yet it was slightly tart. It was the perfect combination, and at the same time it felt so unnatural. I felt not only pleasure in my mouth, but my body began to feel energized and warm. All of that was from a small bite. I swallowed the biteful and let out a pleasured sigh, making Diana smirk slightly at me with a raised eyebrow. I couldn't lie to her about how it tasted. It's delicious.
That it is. They're natively grown in my kingdom, so I have the pleasure of enjoying these every day.
You have a kingdom?
I do. The boys are not the only royals in the demon world, sweetie. I just so happen to be a princess.
I stared in surprise. She was really a princess? How? She looked so mature. She was more of a queen than a princess. Really? You're a princess? You seem more like a queen. I would say that out loud. For a split second, I swore I saw Diana blush, but as she started to laugh, I shook my head at the thought.
You flatter me, little girl. You best be careful. I may just take your flattery as an invitation to take your energy.
I shut my mouth, feeling a blush run across my cheeks. I returned to eating the fruit, hearing her chuckle and eat the remainder of the fruit on her own. Surprisingly, I felt full just from that small slice. How could that be? The only explanation I had is that it was a demon fruit, so I mentally accepted it as just that. What I didn't expect was Diana leaning over and lifting my chin to look down at me.
Messy, aren't you?
Oh, God. I stared as Diana came closer and gently kissed my cheek by the corner of my lip, making me gasp slightly. What was she doing? Why was she kissing my cheek? I was red in the face already, and here she was taking advantage. I would assume that she's trying to kind of seduce Anderson a little bit so that her taking her energy and her memories is more of a guaranteed, willing thing. Besides, Diana's gonna take her memories and walk away anyway, so I guess Diana figures it doesn't really matter what she does. Diana pulled away and slightly licked her and popped her lips. What?
You had a little juice on the side of your lip. It was bothering me.
I ran my fingers over where she kissed me and felt my face grow red, my red face grow even hotter. Diana chuckled slightly at the sight, making me almost glare at her. I didn't know if she was flirting with me or trying to embarrass me. Either way, she was winning. Eventually, my alarm started going off, reminding me to be ready for Naomi and Suzu. Right, school was the thing. I stood from my chair and grabbed my bag, walking out of the dining room.
And where are you going, might I ask?
I have to go to school.
Ah, I see.
I looked at Diana, feeling that she was up to something. She had her arms crossed, looking at me as if I owed her something. What?
Well, I don't exactly want you to leave this house with the memories you have. I'd be breaking the rules if I allowed that.
But we had a deal. You stay for a day, I keep my memories until you leave. I still have to go to school, though.
Then skip school and stay home.
What?
That, or I go with you.
Oh, here we go! Jesus fucking Christ. What? Diana was crazy. To suggest that my school was practically signing a death wish. Everyone would ask about her. What would I tell everyone? That's crazy.
I can't let you leave this house with those memories unless I'm with you. Rules are rules.
What rules?
The rules of the world, sweetie.
Rules of the world? What was she talking about?
The rules applies to any magical being that lives in the human world. They were established on a day you humans might know as the birth date of Jesus Christ.
Oh! Wait, so does that mean Christianity is legitimate?
It's a story to some, a religious faith to others. I won't deny or prove a religion exists because that's a human matter. Magical beings, on the other hand, don't pay attention unless they're angels from the world of heaven.
My curiosity was pecking at my mind like a frantic bird. I wanted to know more. Diana was giving me answers and I wanted to ask more questions. However, I had to go to school. I was conflicted.
Stay, and I'll tell you more of these.
Oh, you bitch! We're gonna skip school, aren't we? And if I go?
Then I take your memories. Now.
I was trapped. There was no way I could bring Diana with me without some repercussion. If she took my memories now, then I'd go to school without remembering anything. However, if I stayed, I could learn more, but I'd miss school. Yeah, we're gonna stay. I bit my lip. Did I really want to stay? I could feel my fingers run over to my phone and call up Naomi. Without even listening to the phone, I spoke into it. Hey girls, I'm feeling really sick. Don't worry about coming in, don't come over. I'm gonna stay home and get better. I hung up without even acknowledging Naomi or Suzu on the other end. Diana crossed her arms and waited for me to turn to her fully. I threw my bag to the side and looked at Diana, ready to learn more. You're going to tell me everything.
I'll do the best I can.
I walked up the stairs with Diana behind me. I glanced up into the dining room to see it already clean. I guess Diana used magic to clean up after us. I continued and wound up walking into my bedroom. I sat on the bed as Diana stood by the balcony window. It was just like last night. So I can ask anything and you'll answer, right?
I'll give you the best answers I can give.
Knowing Diana, it could have been a white lie. She already had hidden some details, but I guess she had her reasons. However, I would need to know more than just details. The rules of the world, what are they?
They are the heart and soul of the human world, created and approved by all 5 worlds on the human date, December 25th.
They're Christmas rules! Okay. 5 worlds?
In human terms, there is the human world, heaven, purgatory, hell, and the abyss.
Oh, we're getting some nice world building here, guys. I'm excited. Well, what are the rules of this agreement?
These rules dictate the behavior of otherworldly creatures in the human world. Without them, there would be constant war between angels and devils, while the vampires would try and enslave humanity.
Vampires are a thing, too?
Demons are merely the watchers, but often the devils or vampires will try and coax them into joining them.
Oh, God. So angels and vampires exist, too?
Yes. Angels are from heaven, watching over the human world with a careful eye. Vampires are from the human world, but pass on to purgatory before rebirth.
I stared at my lap. This was all amazing, and it wasn't satisfying my curiosity. Did I want to know more? Did I want to know just about demons? This was a huge deal, and I felt both over and underwhelmed. So, these rules have rules over humans? Humans can't know about magic at all?
Correct. Humans, to the angels, need to remain pure and innocent. So they dictated that humans cannot know of the other worlds or of other beings. The rest of us agreed. Only a select few are allowed to know the truth about us.
Select few, huh? But that's hardly fair, isn't it?
Well, take a look at yourself. You're barely proficient with magic. Your kind is too focused on who will fight the next war or who will screw the next person. I'm sorry to admit this, but humans are the weakest race in the planes of existence. The only ones who truly protect you are angels.
I felt angry that she made humans sound inferior. Well, they kind of are, though. Yeah, we had our faults, but it wasn't like any of the other races were better, right? There was no way humans were the inferior race. Well, we're not inferior.
Oh, you're not now. Really?
Yeah, you are, though. Diana stared at me, looking me up and down before smirking a bit.
Let's go on a little trip, shall we?
Whoa! Then we're getting a little more than we bargained for, guys. I raised my eyebrow. What was she going on about? First, she wanted me to stay here. Now she wanted to go out? What was with this girl? Before I could protest, the world began to spin around me, forcing me to jump up and grab onto Diana. She held me as the room spun, practically out of control. My fear escalated, and I buried my face in her shoulder, wanting it to stop. If she was trying to prove a scary point, it was working. Whoa! I felt the world slow down around me and soon came to a halt. I didn't want to look, but Diana gently pushed me away from her body for me to look around. Oh, God. I gasped when I realized I was in a business office. What's going on? Where are we?
Just a simple business office. Nothing more.
I looked around and felt an area of familiarity to the room. Yeah, this is from Anderson. This is from the Toys Company. I couldn't figure out why, but my brain kept me aware that I knew this place somehow. I didn't get to think on it long. Suddenly, a group of businessmen entered in the room, stopping at the sight of Diana and me.
Who are you two?
I froze. What was going to happen? We were going to be thrown out in the middle, get in trouble, and I would never be allowed out again. This was a mild nightmare. Diana giggled. Giggle stopped my thoughts. I looked up to see her smirking at the group of men, a hand by her lips.
Why, do you not know who we are? For shame, for shame.
Diana guided me to a chair and sat me down before sitting on the table. I practically turned around as Diana hiked her dress to where her entire leg slipped out from the slit. She crossed her legs and tossed her hair gently.
We are your employers. This lovely lady is the CEO of the company, and I am her personal secretary. You men, however, are late.
Well, Diana! Jesus Christ! I stared at Diana as she stared down the group of men like a tigress would her prey. The group collectively began to shuffle in nervousness, surprising me. Were they really believing her lie? How? Diana smiled and lifted her leg slightly, making the men lean in for a possible panty shot. I couldn't help but feel both stunned and slightly jealous.
One of you needs to come over here and kiss my foot as an apology.
Wow! What? I looked at Diana's foot, seeing it gently bob in slight impatience. Was she seriously going to make one of them kiss her foot? They obviously couldn't be that enthralled with her enough to stoop so low. I let my thoughts become destroyed as I watched the man step out from the group and nervously get on his knees in front of Diana. As he gently cradled her foot in his hands, I tensed and held my breath. No way. The man gently kissed Diana's foot, making an almost sultry sigh escape her lips and sent a shiver down my spine. Diana smirked and leaned back on her hands, looking down at the man before her.
My ankle next.
Like an obedient servant, the man traveled his kiss to her ankle. Diana let her head fall back with another sigh. Diana, what are you doing?
Proving to you how weak the human mind is.
Diana raised a hand above her and snapped her fingers, causing the group of oogling men that remained to straighten up like an army at attention. I felt myself tense and catch my breath in response, but I couldn't feel any power over me.
Water, a massage, another kiss.
With each command, a man would separate from the group and fulfill it obediently. I watched as each man became practically a slave to her whim. Diana closed her eyes and let out a pleasured hum, making my spine tingle again. For some reason, this irritated me beyond belief. Watching her be pampered by enthralled men made something crawl in my chest, something dark. I wanted it to stop. That's enough, Diana. Diana and the men around her suddenly looked at me. Diana was a little surprised, but then slightly smirked.
Oh my. Is someone a little jealous?
It's not like that. Just stop it. You've proved your point. Diana chuckled, making me wince. Would she stop? She wasn't obedient like the boys, so who knew with her? Diana then snapped her fingers, surprising me and forcing the men around her to huddle together where they were previously.
I have proven my point, haven't I? Oh well. I guess I got a little carried away.
Diana ran a finger over her lower lip and giggled at my face, though. What?
You're adorable when you're jealous.
My face turned red instantly and I covered my cheeks, glaring at Diana. She giggled again before snapping her fingers and making the room around us fade away into darkness. A mere breath later, we were back in my bedroom with both of us on my bed. Diana stretched her arms up and smiled at me.
So, now do you understand the vulnerability of humanity?
I gritted my teeth. Humans weren't as weak as she claimed. I couldn't believe it. Just because we were weak didn't mean that we couldn't know about those things who were supposedly more powerful than us. I glared at Diana. That justifies ignorance? How does that justify ignorance?
Ignorance is the only safety humans get to have. If humans were to know about us, do you know what kind of chaos would occur?
A lot of chaos, actually. For once I felt scared. Diana's eyes were cold as ice and she stared into my soul, practically giving me the frightening feeling of the future I questioned.
There are already wars in the human world being fought amongst yourselves. Equality, dominance, power. The human world is practically the image of self-chaos.
It's true.
Innocent blood is spilled every day in your world. Doesn't matter the color or creed you carry. You think blood is spilt now? There will be much more if humans knew about otherworldly creatures. Our existences can destroy beliefs and human logic.
I felt the world around me go dark as I stared at Diana. Sounds of screaming and battle raged around me, but I kept my eyes to the one person I could see. Was this an illusion? Was this a trick? It didn't feel like it.
Religions would crumble and civil wars would clash.
Truth.
Paranoia would be a constant in every human mind. And soon armies will rise up, trying to defend humanity without true knowledge of who we are and what we can do.
I completely agree. That's exactly what would happen.
Vampires would be forced to retaliate and build armies of their own. And trust me, they're not as friendly as the vampires in your human fictional drabble.
Yay! Human fictional travel!
Devils would have a heyday and wreak havoc, finally finding a collective weakness in the human world to exploit. Angels would have to come down and fight their devil rivals, and the human world would become their battlefield.
Truth. I could see the world Diana described flash before my eyes. I could see humans screaming and fighting each other, trying to figure out who... I'm sorry. Trying to figure out who is what and being frightful with every blink. I imagined devils like Maliks ravaging cities and killing people while soldiers tried to fight back, failing and dying at every turn. The image was scary and I didn't want to imagine it. I shook my head, holding it in both hands, before looking to Diana. My room had returned and Diana stared back at me. To my surprise, she had a concerned face.
The rules are to make sure that we all stay at peace. To have us all fighting at once would result in a massive cataclysm that would engulf everything and everyone, no matter what you were.
Diana finally broke away from the gaze she held on me and stared at the far wall. I could see a look of fear rush through her eyes as she looked away from me. I almost felt sorry, but my confusion covered my concern.
Demons already have enough on our collective plates. We don't need to become the backlash victims of broken ignorance.
Diana. Something in Diana's eyes made my heart almost hurt. Even though she wasn't looking at me, I could almost see all of the emotions that ran in her mind just by observing her eyes. I felt bad, terribly even, for questioning her as I did. I was only human after all. However, I felt the need to comfort her. Something was going on and Diana was holding it back. Whether or not I learnt more by comforting her almost didn't matter. Let's see. Let's take her hand. Talk to us, girl! I felt myself gently scoot closer to Diana before laying a hand on hers. Diana stared at me for a brief moment before shaking her head frantically and shutting her eyes tightly. A soft sigh escaped her lips before she looked again at me with an almost new resolve.
I'm fine. I was merely trying to prove my points.
The day then became filled with Diana teaching me about magic. Even when the day ended, I needed to learn more. I began to crave it. I begged Diana to stay despite knowing our deal. Diana, despite promising to only stay a day, agreed to stay longer to tell me more. Soon, days passed by, filled with lessons and examples of magic. Knowing that I would be missed at school, Diana quickly took care of making sure I wasn't missed. Using a simple spell, as she called it, she created an illusion of me to go in my place. It was real to humans and acted just like me, but it was like a ghost to demons. I kinda wished I would remember that spell. She told me of vampires, creatures that looked like humans who had an inner hierarchy. There were 4 types of vampires, but all of them were under oath by the rule of the worlds to not hunt humans. It was strange, and it felt like a fictional novel, but Diana promised that vampires were not like the books. They'd adapted to living with humans, creating a formula that allowed them to walk around during the day. They even had a blood bank as currency that made synthetic blood to quench their thirsts. They had a real blood to drink, of course, but they got it either through hospital blood drives or black market means. It was surreal. Devils were as chaotic as Malik was, but they were still all under the command of a very powerful fallen angel and devil king, Satan. He, however, still had the heart of an angel. He was simply sitting in hell and waiting for an opening into the human world. I hoped it would never come. Angels, on the other hand, were not as I expected. When I thought of angels, I imagined beautiful, human-looking creatures with wings and halos.
I still wonder who spread that rumor.
Diana explained that they actually looked monstrous. Each archetype of angel looked different, but Diana couldn't describe them all. The one that stood out to most of me was the Seraphim, LOL, because Seraphim Entertainment made this game. She described it as a mysterious creature that hid behind 3 large pairs of wings. Well, what if the Seraphim did look human?
Well, anyone who has met a seraphim and tried to find out has not lived to spill the secret.
I gulped. It was scary to hear that for some reason. Angels were strict and were not as forgiving as many claimed. According to Diana, they had a love-hate relationship with humans, but they didn't try to dominate us. They only became mediators for the rule of the worlds. Well, why not?
I'd rather not get into that.
Well, why?
It's not my place to talk about heaven. Only the angels.
She also mentioned the methods for memory removal. As the self-proclaimed guardian of the humans, they had the right to baptize humans who held memories of otherworldly creatures should they find any in the human world. This baptism not only erased the memories of magic, but erased their entire memory clean. Humans wouldn't remember who they were or what they knew. A blank canvas. Huh, that doesn't sound like fun. Demons, however, unlike the others, were passive creatures that only truly cared for their own world. They had their own lands, kingdoms, and lords living there. The most powerful demon in the Abyssal Plains was the Demon Lord. He was the Incubi boys' father, and he was a ruthless man. Yeah, we've seen that douchebag. He had conquered several kingdoms with a massive, indestructible army. Many demons died under his brutality, but when he did conquer, life for demons was like a human renaissance. Many feared what land he would attack next. However, to everyone's surprise, the Demon Lord had tried to be peaceful with Diana's kingdom as she was offered as a bride to one of his sons. Why would you accept that?
I had no choice. I was barely a child when the decision was made, and when I learned of it, I had accepted it.
Why though? How would you know if you would be in love with the guy you married?
It didn't matter. My kingdom would be safe, and I would be able to live with knowing I was able to protect my kingdom.
I stared at Diana as she smiled at me with sad eyes. She really didn't want to marry them. It was practically painted all over her face. Yeah, I never thought for a moment she really wanted to. You shouldn't have to marry someone you don't love. Diana's face shifted to one of surprise as she looked to me. I was being honest, though. She didn't have to marry someone to protect the kingdom. It would be safe, yes, but you would be unhappy. Can you live with yourself knowing that?
I'd rather be unhappy than see my kingdom burn to the ground. Besides, as the bride of the next Demon Lord, I'd have the ability to change things. I could disband his armies, bring peace to the Abyssal Plains.
But what about love?
Love?
Diana looked at her lap and sighed.
Love can't exist for me. I'm the most powerful succubus in the demon world. Anyone who would go after me would only be entranced by my power.
Yeah, I'm not. Diana chuckled, making me blush a bit. I was being honest here, and she was laughing at my words.
You're a human, dear. You can't know when I'm using my powers or not. I could be using them now, making you interested in me to trust me.
But you're not, are you? Diana silenced herself. She stared at me, knowing that her silence would give me my answer. I smirked at her. You like me.
What?
You like me. You definitely like me.
I do not. I'm merely fulfilling my end of the deal.
Cookie, I don't know if there is a makeout scene. I certainly hope there is. I felt like a tease. She was being nice to me and wasn't using her powers over me because she liked me. It was too obvious. You like me. You like me. You like me. Oh, yay! Cookie, ask and you shall receive. What I didn't expect was her taking my hand and forcing me closer to her. A mere inch separated our lips, but Diana stared into my soul, made my mind go blank. I barely remembered what I was saying. Diana remained holding me. I didn't fight. She stared into my soul and I allowed it. I was concerned, and at the same time, I was intrigued. Diana was indeed a beautiful woman. Seeing her up close made my face turn slightly red in embarrassment. Any moment she could lean in and kiss me, maybe even take my energy. However, she didn't.
You are interesting for a human.
She then released me and stared at me, watching as I stared back at her with a red face. Did I like her? I shook my head. No way, that was impossible. We were just in a business deal, nothing more.
Is there anything else you wanted to know?
I stared at her as I thought. Was there anything else I wanted to know? My memories were forfeit in the end, so everything was up for grabs. Yet I couldn't think of a single question to ask. Was that all I wished to know? No, there was nothing else I needed to know. I felt satisfied. No, that should be all.
I understand.
Diana stood and adjusted the bottom of her dress before smiling at me. I barely noticed how much time had passed between us. It felt like forever, yet I enjoyed learning more. I felt bad that I had to lose my memories. However, that was the deal, and according to Diana, demons never go back on their word.
Well, if you don't mind, there's one place I need to visit, and I'd rather visit it now than after I take your memories. I'll be gone from the area for quite a while, anyway.
Huh? Where do you need to go?
A cemetery. There's something I need to do there. It's boring, sadly, but I need to do it. You need to come with so I can watch you.
Why did she need to go to the cemetery? Did she have a human friend she needed to say goodbye to? Did she have to meet with another demon? Sure, let me...
No need to get dressed up. It's just a brief visit.
Diana snapped her fingers and the world melted into black. I stood and wanted to walk to be beside Diana, unsure of what was happening. Why wasn't the world spinning instead? Was the spinning a trick she did? I felt myself click my teeth in irritation of that thought. Soon the world grew black. Black. My brain just gave out on me, guys. I don't know what is wrong with me this afternoon. Soon the world grew black and we were standing in a field I somehow recognized. I looked down and regretted it. Yeah, I figured we were going there. At our feet was grandfather's gravestone. It was untouched and as clean as when I remembered seeing it. Why were we here?
Here we are.
Here? I stared at Diana as she muttered a small incantation under her breath. In her hands formed a small vase of purple lilac. She gently knelt down and placed them beside the grave.
I had to pay my respects to this man.
Did grandfather die letting her into the human world to get the boys back? Why? Were you a friend of his? I needed to know. My mind began screaming. Something wasn't right. Why did she know him? How did she know he was dead? What was their relationship? What was going on? Holy shit!
No, I wasn't a friend of his. I didn't even know him.
Then why are you giving him flowers? My mind began to screech louder in my head. What was it? Why? Why? Diana, why are you giving him flowers?
You don't need to know. I highly doubt you knew this man.
Yes, I do. Diana stared wide-eyed at me, a mixture of fear and surprise mixed in her eyes. My heart began to squeeze tightly in my chest. Why was she looking at me like that?
How do you know him?
Hold on 1 second, guys.
How...
Sorry, guys, that was my dad. It looks like the battery's good. He said, we'll have to see if the car turns on in the morning. Hopefully there's not a short in the car or anything like that. Because, fuck my life. The 1,001 things could be wrong with it. Anyway, sorry about that. I said answer my question! I couldn't hold in my voice. I needed to hear her answer, and I didn't want to hear anything else. Anything other than her answer would infuriate me. Diana looked down at the grave, letting out a small sigh. My heart tightened further. Answer me. I needed the answer.
This man helped the boys come to the human world. He opened a bridge and let them through, before sealing it with a part of his life force.
There was more. I knew there was more. He fucking let her in! I remained silent as she took a breath.
I had come to visit their castle one day, and when they told me that the boys were gone, I became frantic. Without the contract marriage, the Demon Lord would have had the freedom to march on my kingdom and conquer it. I couldn't let that happen. So I tried to find a way here. I searched the castle during my brief visit, trying to find out where the boys went. I found it. This man left behind a small trace of his spell, small enough to be undetected by the inhabitants of the castle.
Diana looked at me, a look of pain on her face that made my already pained heart feel like it was punctured by needles.
Demon magic is best with consent, but takes more energy when forced.
You killed him!
So, in a blind need, I recast the spell and used that man's life force to open the bridge once more and seal it completely when I walked through.
Oh!
I didn't know I was taking the rest of his life.
Are you fucking kidding me?
By the time the bridge closed, the man had already passed. He was visiting someone in a nearby hospital, so when I left to find the boys, the staff had found him and tried to revive him. I didn't want to take his life. I thought he was a younger man. I didn't know he was as old as he was. It's my fault this man is dead. But I needed to come to the human world, and he was my only chance to get close enough to track the boys down.
Diana tensed up and stared at me. Her face was painted with regret and sadness, something not like her usual self. You killed my grandfather.
Your grandfather?
Yeah! Holy shit! Oh my god! I want to claw her fucking face off! But apparently that's not what we're supposed to do. Run. I needed to leave. I needed to go. I quickly turned and ran, hearing Diana call out for me from behind.
Wait!
I ran. I didn't look back. I couldn't look back. She started all of this. She was the one who turned my world upside down. She was the reason for this chaos I was in. She took my grandfather away. I ran through the gates of the cemetery and through the streets to my house. This time, the world was in slow motion and I was the one going in fast forward. I didn't care what was going on around me. I just needed to run. My heart began to freeze in my chest, painted by the feeling of needles and knives piercing through it. Tears were running down my face, but I knew where I was running. I ran through the front gates of my house and sprinted inside. I zipped up the stairs and ran into my room. As I slammed the door behind me, I began to weep violently. I leaned against the door and slid to the ground, crying. My world was crumbling, and I didn't like it. My world was broken apart, and I didn't want it. All I could do, though, was cry. My heart denied me from thinking about anything else. I cried. I continued to cry. I let my heart empty of its pain with each tear that ran down my cheeks. Okay, I'm not voicing that. My scream echoed through the room, bouncing around and reverberating into my ears. I didn't care if it hurt to hear it. I didn't care about anything anymore. All I cared about was crying. I curled into a ball and cried. I didn't even know when I passed out. I didn't remember closing my eyes and letting darkness take me. The darkness was comforting. I felt my sadness numb within it. There was no reality in that darkness to haunt me or hurt me. I wanted to stay within it forever. However, my body forced me to open my eyes. I saw the room focus around me and I realized I was staring at the ceiling. I was in my bed under my covers. I sat up and looked around, stopping to see Diana leaning against the balcony window, looking away from me. Why was she here? Did she carry me to bed? I felt my anger wanting to speak out against Diana, but I noticed the puffiness around her visible eye. She was oh, wow, Diana! Had she been crying? Seeing her bloodshot puffy eye made me fully aware of my own eyes and how dry they'd become after crying. I rubbed my eyes and let out a shaky sigh.
I'm sorry.
Guys, listen to the emotion in that line.
I'm sorry.
Fucking Michaela Laws for president. Like, Jesus Christ. I stared at Diana. My heart didn't want to hear it, but I let her speak.
I didn't want to come here in the first place. I only thought of bringing the boys back to protect my kingdom, so everything else became secondary. I didn't mean to take his life.
But you did.
I did. I can't ask for forgiveness, but I still am sorry. If I could turn back time, I would find another way.
You know, it's because of you that I met the boys.
Huh?
I looked to my blanket-covered lap. I remembered the funeral, the moving, the meeting with the boys. Everything came at me all at once, and now I had the one puzzle piece that fit it all together. If my grandfather hadn't died, he'd still be living here, and he'd be the one taking care of the boys instead of me. But he died and gave me his estate, so I came and met them for the first time. I looked at Diana, seeing her sad face. I could tell she really regretted her choice, and she was upset. I couldn't sense any deception in her. I guess I have to thank you for introducing me to them and to magic, since my grandfather couldn't do it himself, anyway. Diana looked down, pressing her lips together and closing her eyes.
I need to take your memories now. A deal's a deal. I fulfilled my part and told you everything. I had nothing left to tell you, and you can't keep those memories.
I didn't speak. I watched as Diana argued into the air about taking my memories. It felt like she was now doubting the deal, not wanting to take away the truth from me. Did I want her to? This was my chance to return to ignorance. I'd never remember that she took my grandfather's life. I'd never remember everything she showed me and taught me. I'd return to normalcy. I assume that we don't want her to take our memories. Yeah. Diana stared at me, a look of almost despair on her face. I, however, kept my eyes to her. You took away my grandfather. What gives you the right to take my memories away?
But
I'm not done speaking. Diana shut her mouth, listening obediently. I needed to speak my mind. She had no right to take anything away. I knew the truth now, and that was all that mattered to me. Screw the rules. I deserve to remember everything. I was thrown into this mess because of you. No one has the right to take anything away from me. Diana took a step towards me, and I was ready to snap at her. However, she gently leaned over me and ran a hand over my head.
all right.
What?
I won't take your memories.
Wow, Diana! I stared up at her in shock. Was she serious? Diana smiled at me and stood back up.
You're right. You deserve to know everything. It's the least I can do.
I felt almost joyful. She agreed with me. This was a huge deal. I still didn't forgive Diana, but it was better to know that than to be left in ignorance. Eventually, I would be able to move on. Until then, Diana was willing to stay and teach me the life my grandfather knew in redemption. It was something.
Head back to sleep and I'll teach you more in the morning. I'll stay a few more days until you know everything.
Wow! Something felt off, but I nodded, feeling exhaustion drift over me again. Was it natural? I didn't know. My head began to spin, and I needed more rest. Diana gently laid me back down and moved hair from my face.
Rest.
As if from a spell, I closed my eyes and fell back into an unconscious darkness. My heart was healing, and it would take time to heal. Thankfully, and now it had time now to heal and grow stronger. Diana obeyed my word and stayed with me. She owed me so much already and stayed with me for a good week. Within that time frame, she not only taught me everything she could, but she also assisted me in learning some of my own hidden magic. Yo, can we go be badass queens of the demon realm together? Because I would be all about that. I could barely believe it. I had demon magic floating through my veins, and I could use it at any time. If I learned about how to use my powers earlier, I would have been as strong as a demon. Diana explained that humans who learn of demon magic attract demon energy and have the potential to use some of it just like demons, but their full power can only be unlocked in the demon world. Yes! Yes! I'm sensing foreshadowing! Let's go be queens of the demon world together with Diana. Make it happen, game. I demand it. Being that my grandfather spent almost his whole life learning about demon magic, his energy carried through my father, then to me. When my dad left my grandfather, his energy diminished, but when I came to home, mine began to grow. According to Diana, I shouldn't have as much energy as I have. I guess I was lucky. Everything was fascinating. I felt waves of excitement and energy run through my body. I was aware of the energy I held and the magic around me. I could even sense Diana's energy, as powerful as it was. One night, however, as I slept, Diana began to waver.
What am I doing?
I heard Diana mutter, waking me from my sleep. I opened my eyes and peeked over to my covers to see Diana looking out my window. She looked tired and restless.
I need to get the boys and return home. My kingdom is in danger. Maybe I should call an angel.
My heart froze. She could call on an angel. It would baptize me and make me forget everything. I panicked, but I heard Diana sigh.
But she makes sense. Why should I marry to protect my kingdom? I should be able to... Well, would I? Me against the Demon Lord's entire army. I'm not that strong.
Ladybug is here. Hello, Ladybug, my dear. Thank you for joining us. I slowly sat up, looking to Diana still. She seemed only focus her attention out the window, unfazed at my rousing.
She's strong, though. The magic in her veins would win me this war.
Huh.
But I can't take her magic. I care for her too much. But she's just a human.
Oh, Diana, let's go be badass demon queens together. Let's do it. I'm all about it. Diana sighed and opened the window.
I need to leave. I have to fight him on my own. I'll use the rest of my energy to get back and hopefully recover when I get there. I hope he hasn't already attacked or is ready for me.
Diana stepped out of the window and stood on the balcony. Was she really going to leave? What about me? Was she going to leave? What about teaching me everything? My curiosity was peaking again, and I needed her here. I don't know what drew me to her, but I quickly rushed out of bed and ran to the balcony. Wait! Diana turned around and stared at me in surprise. However, she tightened her hands into fists and turned back around.
Go back to bed. I need to go.
But you...
I need to go. I'll be back someday. But I need to protect my kingdom. Without the boys, he'll attack at any time. And I need to prepare myself instead of waste my time here.
I couldn't believe it. She was really wanting to leave. I overheard her. She wasn't confident about winning. She probably couldn't if he was as powerful as she claimed. I'd never see her again.
Take care of those memories while I'm gone. You need to keep them secret at all costs. If angels find you, they'll...
Take me with you! Yes! I couldn't believe what came out of my mouth. Diana turned to me, also surprised at my words.
What?
I couldn't deny myself. I needed to fulfill this curiosity, and if Diana was going, I was going with her. If I was with her, maybe she could win her fight and then come back to the human world with me. An adventure. My heart felt giddy for some reason at the thought. Take me with you. I overheard you. I have the power to help you win your war. I'll help you, and then you can come back with me and teach me everything.
But I don't deserve your help.
I demand it as a deal, demon. Diana straightened up, staring at me in disbelief. I almost couldn't recognize my own voice. In redemption for my grandfather's life, you will take me with you and teach me everything. I will then win your war, and in return, you will have to return me to the human world to continue teaching me until I've learned everything. Wow! Go for it, Anderson! Diana stared. I couldn't tell what was going through her mind. Was she angry, sad, surprised? As Diana closed her eyes and smiled, I felt a wave of relief wash over me.
A tongue of ice, even when faced with danger.
Diana then looked at me and held out her hand.
Come then. Help me open a portal, and I'll take you with me.
I nodded and placed my hand in Diana's. For some reason, it felt nice to touch her hand like this. She was going to take me on an adventure I could never forget. Oh shit, guys! Oh shit! She then gently pulled me to her, and the both of us began to float up towards the night sky. Diana's embrace seemed safe, and I felt better being in it than out of it. Sorry, grandfather. Diana looked down at me and ran a hand over my cheek.
You don't know how much this means to me.
I nuzzled into Diana's hand and closed my eyes. Diana gently lowered her hands to my waist, staring down at me as I opened my eyes.
You intrigue me.
I giggled. Don't you mean seduce me? LOL! Diana chuckled and grinned at me.
Yes, you seduce me.
I smiled before gently reaching up and kissing Diana softly. She stared, surprised, before closing her eyes and gently returning my kiss. There was no pull of energy nor warm fuzzy enthrallment. It was a simple kiss. It was the one kiss I felt perfect to start my adventure with. The sky began to melt into darkness as Diana and I kissed each other. It wasn't heated or passionate, yet that kiss spoke many languages to me. Diana liked me and came to care just a little for me. Was this the start of something? Maybe. It was too early to tell. Maybe we'd find romance in the demon world. Maybe not. I still had 100 battles to face, 1,000 memories to make, 1,000,000 stories to write. However, this was the change I needed in my life. And that was my happily ever after. The end, my adventure, yeah! Guys, we did the Diana route. I really liked that route. I'm glad that it wasn't like a full-out crazy romance. I love the way that they did this route. Like, I am all about it. Yeah, Ladybug Queen chapter's almost done. I can't wait to read it. Alrighty, so that is it for Seduce Me. There are a couple of other bad ends, but I'm probably not going to go through them because they're a pain in the ass to get, I think, from what I've read. But yeah, that's Seduce Me. I guess maybe if you guys liked it enough, we should do Seduce Me 2, the Demon War. We should do the sequel. Maybe you guys want to continue the adventure. I have to actually look into that James After story and see if that is relevant to the first or second game. If it's relevant to the first game, then I'll do that before doing the sequel. But yeah, I'm excited for the Demon War. I gotta find a walkthrough for that. Oh, well, maybe we don't have to do a walkthrough that. Maybe I'll try a blind playthrough. Maybe. I don't know. This game is not as difficult as Asagao Academy was as far as trying to get where you want to go. But yeah, I mean, if you guys are into it, I assume that you guys want to see the sequel, so I guess we'll do that. But for now, that's going to be it for this stream. I'll stay in the chat. I'm going to have my normal 7 p.m. stream as normal tonight. However, for the 7 p.m. stream, we are doing the E3 demo of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I finally, now that I have my brother's controller that I'm borrowing, we can actually play that, and it's something I've been dying to stream because I'm so excited for this game, and I kickstarted a lot of money into it, obviously, because the E3 demo is only available to people who kicked in $60 or more to the Kickstarter. So I'm excited for that. So we will do that, and then maybe after that on our next stream, we'll do some Seduce Me too. I'll have to see. Yeah, Frankie says do it blind. Maybe we'll do it blind. Why not? Well, it's gonna be blind. I know nothing about the story, but I mean, like, maybe I'll wait to go through it once blind before going for the walkthrough, really. But yeah. Yeah, Cookie's going to be at the 7 p.m. stream. I hope you all are at the 7 p.m. stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. For everybody in the Twitch chat, I will stay in the chat and we'll chat until 7 p.m. I'll hang around. But for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Bye.